Another herb is Shan Zhu Yu. Shan Zhu Yu is a very important tonic for liver kidney yin deficiency, but it's also astringent. The Latin name for Shan Zhu Yu is Fructus cornu. It's a kind of fruit, actually, the meat of a fruit. So another name for Shan Zhu Yu is called Shan Yu Rou. Shan Zhu Yu. Read after me. Shan Zhu Yu. Shan Zhu Yu. Shan still means mountain. And Zhu Yu is a name of a kind of plant. We have Wu Zhu Yu, remember that? We have Wu Zhu Yu, this is a different plant. Shan Zhu Yu is actually a fruit. And the color of Shan Zhu Yu is brown, red. And the taste of Shan Zhu Yu actually is a little bit sour. So this brown red and it's a fruit actually means what? This can be related to blood, or here more the liver. And as a fruit of, the result of that, this can tell you it can be more related to the kidney. So one major function of Shan Zhu Yu is to tonify liver and kidney. Another one is that Shan Zhu Yu is sour. Sour means it has this astringent property. And Shan Zhu Yu is used to treat what? Mostly the excessive discharge related to kidney deficiency or liver deficiency, including what? Like emission, like frequent urination, and also leukorrhea. But apart from this, Shan Zhu Yu can also stop sweating because what? It's red, it's related to liver blood, and liver blood and heart blood have that very close relationship. That's the two major points for Shan Zhu Yu. Number one is that it's a good liver kidney yin tonic. Number two is that astringent is used to treat the excessive discharge related to liver kidney deficiency. Well, in taste and practice, as a tonic, it should be what? As a tonic, it should be sweet. But for Shan Zhu Yu, we say it's sour and slightly warm. And in meridian tropism, Shan Zhu Yu should enter these two organs we just mentioned, the liver and the kidney. But in functions, number one function for Shan Zhu Yu is to tonify the liver and the kidney. It's one of the herbs, one of the three tonics in the most famous formula for liver, for kidney yin deficiency or 六味地黄丸. So when they raise, for example, liver and kidney deficiency, here deficiency, can mean more liver kidney yin deficiency. Liver yin, kidney yin can nourish each other. Then if, for example, we have dizziness, low back pain, or even like heart sensation in the palm, soles, and so on. This kind of kidney yin deficiency manifestations, you can use Shan Zhu Yu. And the typical formula is 六味地黄丸. Is 六味地黄丸, 6 herbs. pill with remaining root. And in this formula, we have 3 purgatives, 3 tonics. Shan Zhu Yu is one of the 3 tonics. We have Shu Di, Shan Zhu Yu, and Shan Yao as the tonics in this formula. That's the most important application in this case. And another case, there is another formula called 花草丹. 草还丹. Is a formula more used for what? Actually here is more for kidney yang deficiency. Or patient has like impotence, emission, infertility, and so on. And in this formula, actually, apart from Shan Zhu Yu, we also have Shexiang, Wu Rong, Wu Zhi, these kind of herbs. Here, there is a question. It's yang deficiency case. Why we use Shan Zhu Yu, which is an herb that can tonify kidney yin. There are 2 reasons for this. Number 1, when there is yang deficiency, like emission and so on can be the result because of failure of yang to control, right? To consolidate. We need astringent herbs to hold that. That's number 1. Number 2 is what? Kidney yin and kidney yang are much more closely related in the interdependence relationship. In other words, it's the root of the body, just like a seed. When it grows to help a plant to grow, there should be fat, protein, and so on. The yin part, there should be yang part too. That's why the typical formula for yang deficiency in the kidney. Actually, we have 6味地黄丸 inside, plus 2 warm herbs. But another reason, look at the nature. Shan Zhu Yu actually is a little bit warm. They have yang part too. So there are 3, reasons for that. That's one case. Another function is in consolidating essence, reduce urine, which means as an astringent, it enters the liver and the kidney, so it can stop like emission. It can reduce urine used to treat like frequent urination or like leukorrhea. This, excessive discharge related to the kidney deficiency or liver and kidney deficiency, mostly kidney deficiency. And when we say this, actually, is an indication of 6味地黄丸. 6味地黄丸 is also a formula used sometimes for emission and so on, this kind of condition. But in pathogenesis, we say there is liver kidney yin deficiency for that. And apart from that, there is like 草还丹, we just mentioned this one. 草还丹 is used for impotence and also the emission too. 草还丹 is another formula that can treat excessive discharge. And another case is more like for frequent urination incontinence of urine. You can also use Shan Zhu Yu together with like Sang Xiao, that's another herb in this group. Jin Ying Zi, these are more specific for urine, for emission, and so on. You can use these herbs together. So from Shan Zhu Yu down to the last, most of these herbs are used for this kind of conditions. And apart from this, another special application we just mentioned that is used for sweating. Because Shan Zhu Yu enters the liver stores blood, and liver blood supplies the heart with blood. So with the raised sweating, we use Shan Zhu Yu as a regular herb. And this can be both spontaneous sweating or night sweating. For example, if it's spontaneous sweating is more from qi deficiency, we can use Huangqi, Mu Li together with Shan Zhu Yu and so on. Shan Zhu Yu in this case is just used as an astringent. But if it's night sweating, there is yin deficiency, right? Night sweating is caused by yin deficiency. Shan Zhu Yu on one hand can astringe to stop the sweating, on the other hand is a yin tonic. So you can use Shan Zhu Yu together with Zhi Mu and so on, and lots of herbs together to treat sweating, That's another case. So these four aspects actually are the most important application of Shan Zhu Yu in the astringent function. But Shan Zhu Yu, the astringent nature, sometimes is also used for metrostaxis, metrorrhagia, or they start bleeding. Metrostaxis, and metrorrhagia in Chinese medicine, mostly is caused by like deficiency, yang deficiency, qi deficiency, and so on. But this is a bleeding from the reproductive organ. It should be related to the liver and the kidney. That's also why for bleeding, the last one, Wu Zei Gu is more used for this, but we have lots of herbs you can use. Remember, we have astringent herbs that can stop bleeding, like Xian Cao. And you can also use Shan Zhu Yu here, if it's more from deficiency. That's pretty much the major function of Shan Zhu Yu. The dosage of Shan Zhu Yu can be a little larger. Mostly you use like 15 or even up to 30 grams. And let's say the same in the ancient time. In the ancient time, in one book it said that it can warm up the liver. It can strengthen the primordial qi, consolidate acids. In another book, it said that it can warm up middle jiao, help qi to go down, stop bleeding, improve vision, strengthen energy. That's the same in the history. That is the first herb today, Shan Zhu Yu. And the second herb today is Jin Ying Zi. Jin Zi actually is also a fruit. The Latin name is Fructus Roseville. This. In Chinese. It's called Jin Zi. Read after me. Jin Ying Zi. Jin Ying Zi. Jin in Chinese means gold or golden. Ying means what? There is a kind of weapon-like stuff. Here, there is like the core silk like things. And very often, this is in the color of like brown or gold. So this herb must have something like that. That's why it's called Jin Ying. Jin Ying. Ying here means this. Zi means the seed of the fruit. The seed of the fruit. That's the name. That's the name. For Jin Ying Zi, number one is an astringent herb, but the astringent property is mainly used for like emission, like frequent urination, leukorrhea. But the first two are the two major indications for this herb. And there is a very famous formula. We use Jin Ying Zi and Qian Shi. We mentioned Qian Shi last time. This is called 水陆二仙丹 for this. So remember this. That's one of the major points. But apart from this, the astringent nature of Jin Ying Zi actually is also used for diarrhea. Or we say it can astringe intestine to stop diarrhea. That's a little bit special for this herb. That's a two major function of Jin Ying Zi. Jin Ying Zi in taste and property is sour astringent, and in nature is neutral. It's neutral. And in marine tropism, we can still can consolidate essence and reduce urine. These two aspects of major application. But in the clinic, you have three groups of conditions. One is emission, one is more like frequent urination, incontinence of urine, and another one is still like leukorrhea and so on. This herb is one of the major herbs used for this kind of condition. And there are many different ways to use the herb. One simple way is to use the herb alone. You can make the herb into a kind of paste. After you boil that and eat the paste. That's one case. Another one is that we just mentioned the typical formula. We use Jin Zi and Qian Shi together. It's called 水陆二仙丹, water, land, two immortal formula. 水陆二仙丹 is a formula for all of these two. So this formula, 水陆二仙丹, whenever a patient has something like this, you can consider using this formula. It's a very basic, very important formula. If you want to use larger formula, you add other herbs that can, for example, 25 kidney qi, warm up kidney yang. But to be more specific in astringent to stop the excessive discharge, 水陆二仙丹, these two herbs are very important. You can add that to the larger formula, So that is the first aspect, is a very important formula for all of these. Have that in mind, even it's not so complicated. But the second function is that it can also astringe to stop diarrhea. This is used for very chronic diarrhea due to spleen deficiency or like dysentery for this kind of condition. And in the clinic, you can also use the herb alone in paste to treat this. Or you can add like Astringe, Baizhu, this kind of herbs to make the spleen stronger at the same time. That's how we can use the herb for this purpose. It's very simple. And that's pretty much all the function of Jin Ying Zi. Some herbs, even the function of these herbs are not so complicated, but they can be very important. So in your mind, we should have a strong sense. Jin Ying Zi, Qian Shi, Shui Lu, Er Xian Dan. For these conditions are very important. We should have that in the mind. The dosage of Jin Ying Zi is pretty much the regular dosage. Let's say the same in the ancient time. In one book, it says that it stops emission and so on. In another book, it says that it treats diarrhea due to spleen deficiency, stop frequent urination, consolidate acids. In another book, it says that it's sour and astringent. So this herb enters the lung, the spleen, and the kidney, consolidating acids and qi. It treats emission, diarrhea, frequent urination. That's the same. Another one is called Sang Piao Xiao. Sang Piao Xiao actually is a kind of cocoon. Cocoon, right? How do you say that? Cocoon. Right.
Cocoon.
Right.
Cocoon.
And the Latin name for Sang Piao Xiao is cocoon mantis. Read after me. Sang Piao Xiao Sang Piao Xiao Sang Piao Xiao. Sang still means this. This can be something, coming from the mulberry trees. But Piao Xiao means this. And the cocoon, actually, we saw the silk worm cocoon. It looks like this, but Sang Piao Xiao is something more like a sponge with a lot of small holes. Sponge can suck water, right? Or that's a kind of astringent nature. We run out of that. So it has a lot of small holes, more like a sponge. That's why it's astringent. And that's also why this sucks water, right? Sang Piao Xiao can be used for emission, can be used for other things, but the number one indication is what? It's a special herb for frequent urination. It's number one herb to stop frequent urination, or this herb has more specific function of frequent urination. But Sang Piao Xiao is also used for emission, is also used for leukorrhea. Only that urine part is the most important. Another one is what? These kind of things, inside, it's more like an egg, right? That's where a new life starts. And this looks actually long, something like that. So in Chinese, another function of this actually is to tonify or warm up kidney yang. To treat what? Like impotence. You can imagine this is similar to penis. That's another special point. Well, in taste and practice, Sang Piao Xiao is sweet, salty, and Sang Piao Xiao in nature is neutral. And in meridian tropics, we still have the kidney, liver here. But in functions, number one is still consolidate essence, reduce urine, the same. These several herbs all take this as a major indication. So in the clinic, some Xiao can be used for emission, frequent urination, leukorrhea, and so on, this kind of condition. But the most typical one, again, is this. And you can say it's the number one herb for this purpose, And actually, in the clinic, there is a formula used for emission for urine, especially the frequent urination. It's called 桑朴香散. 桑朴香 is used as the main herb. It's called 桑朴香散. In that formula, actually, we have lots of different herbs. For example, yuan zhi, we have yuan zhi. We have 石菖蒲, 龙骨, and so on. 桑朴香散, in the indications, there is a special pathogenesis. It's related to a kind of incoordination between the heart and the kidney. So in the manifestations, patients have frequent urination, but there is more like proteinuria, or the urine is white. At the same time, patient has some kind of forgetfulness and so on. That's why in this formula we have 原质石菖蒲, these herbs are more for forgetfulness. And the white color of the urine may indicate what some essence goes out together with that. So kidney essence is deficient, and the heart spirit cannot be supported. That's more the pathogenesis. This is a typical formula, but there are many different ways to use 桑朴香. In one ancient book, it mentions that for frequent urination in pregnancy, you can just use one herb, make this into powder, take the powder. In pregnancy, if there is frequent urination, mostly it means what? In most cases, it's more from the growth of the fetus that pressed on the uterus, on the bladder. It's a kind of bladder irritation manifestation. And you can use just one to treat that. It also mentioned another one, treating emission, simple formula from ancient book. We use 桑朴香 together with 龙骨. 龙骨 is what? The dragon bone, or it's a kind of facet, right? White in color, astringent herb. You use these two and make powder. Let the patient take powder to treat this. So that's more how we use 桑朴香. It's mainly used for frequent urination and emission. Frequent urination actually is the number one. This herb is more like a sponge. It can suck water. That will help you remember the functions. And another function, you can say tonifying kidney yang. Or this herb is also used for impotence. Impotence in Chinese medicine, in most cases, can be caused by kidney yang deficiency, right? But there are other types of impotence, like that heat flowing downward, like some infection in the lower part, or like depression can cause impotence because liver qi is stagnant. But the typical one is more from kidney yang deficiency. And 桑朴香 is one of the herbs you can use for this. But what are other herbs you can think about? Like Lu Rong, remember this? Like 八极天, this kind of herbs can also be used together with some Piao Xiao for impotence. So for some Piao Xiao, if you can remember two things, number one is an astringent for emission for frequent urination. Number two is more for urination thing. It's the main point. We got the main point. The dosage of some Piao Xiao is just like this. Let's say the same. In one book, it says that some Piao Xiao is an herb for liver kidney. In the Asian formulas, it's used a lot. In another book, it's mentioned that some Piao Xiao is a good astringent herb, so it's used for kidney yang deficiency with impotence, emission or frequent urination or white colored urine. White colored urine. That's pretty much all the information about this herb. Not complicated. Another one is called Fu Peng Zi. Fu Peng Zi actually is a herb used in American herbs too. In the hospital here, they also use this herb. In the department to deliver babies. It's called fructus rubis. And in Chinese, it's called read after me. Fu. Peng. Zi. Fu Peng Zi. Peng actually means basin or a container for urine. In the past, we don't have the toilet. We didn't have toilet like today, right? So people have a basin, something like that for urine. Fu Peng Zi literally means what? Fu means turn over. Turn over. Zi means sit. So I can tell you what, this is something after you take that, you don't need this container anymore. You don't have to urinate a lot. That's how it's so named. But Fu Peng Zi, we have Fu Peng Zi right here. Fu Peng Zi in the clinic, it's an astringent herb, mainly used for what? Still like emission, still like frequent urination for this kind of conditions. And that's number one. Number two is what? Actually, Fu Peng Zi is a seed. Sometimes a seed can tell you what it can improve vision. For most cases, for most herbs we discussed before with this function, it's more from these herbs can tonify the liver and kidney to improve vision. How about Fu Peng Zi? Fu Peng Zi doesn't tonify liver, kidney, yin. Actually, it tonifies the kidney yang. Tonify the kidney yang. So we say it warm up kidney yang and improve vision. These two major aspects. Very simple functions. Well, in taste and practice, Fu Peng Zi is sweet, sour, and slightly warm. And again, the liver kidney as a meridian tropism. And in functions, number one is to consolidate essence and reduce urine. So it's still used for emission, for frequent urination, this kind of condition. For frequent urination, for emission and so on, this kind of condition. That's a major indication. And in the clinic, we should say what? Actually, this herb can tonify is a seed, liver, and kidney, and serve as an astringent. If it doesn't tonify liver and kidney, how it can improve vision? So actually, this herb has both sides. So if someone has this kind of condition, you can use the herbs we just discussed together with Fu Peng Zi, like Xiao, like Jin Ying Zi, right? These are all more specific to this kind of condition, Shan Zhu Yu. So these are more the herbs, more specific for emission and frequent urination. Fu Peng Zi is another one. But apart from this function, Fu Peng Zi is warm, slightly warm. So we say it can warm up kidney yang and improve vision. Here, it means two things. Number one, warm up kidney yang. To treat what? For example, like impotence, like infertility, due to like cold sperm and so on. There is a typical formula for this called Wu Zei Gu. Wu Zi means fast seed. Zhu means continue family pills. So this is something we use a lot actually. For example, male with infertility and in the sperm test, you say there is low sperm count, higher deformity rate, and also the mobility of the sperm is not enough. Then we use more like Wu Zei Gu. But to improve vision, we, in most cases, this should be used for liver kidney deficiency. Liver in, kidney in is deficient, so the eye loss of the nourishment, so there is blurred vision and so on. And a very typical formula we used before is Qiju Dihuangwan, remember that? But you can also add like Fu Peng Zi and so on to strengthen the effect of improving the vision. That's pretty much of the function of this herb, not complicated. And the dosage, regular dosage, and I say the same in the ancient time. In one book, it said that it can benefit qi, make your body feel light, and blacken hair. In another book, it said that if there is impotence due to kidney essence deficiency, it can treat that. And in female, if they use this, they can get pregnant. In another book, it said that it benefits the kidney and reduce urine. In another book, it said that benefit kidney consolidate essence, tonify liver deficiency to improve vision. It treats impotence and reduce urine. You see, not too complicated. And the last one is called Xiao or Wu Zei Gu. It has two names. It's a kind of jellyfish bone. This. So the Latin name for Wu Zei Gu is this. What is this? This means bone in Latin, right? And in Chinese, no, Wu Zei Gu. this is the big one, similar to octopus squid. It's
squid.
Squid, the bone of the squid, actually. And in Chinese, Wu means black. Zei means this, because they have ink inside. They release the ink, they disappear, right? So black theft, bone. But this looks like a cocoon also in appearance, and it's from ocean. So another name for this herb is this. And actually, in our pharmacy, we use this name, Piao, Xiao. Piao, Xiao. So, but this bone, when you look at that, it's white in color. And it's very crispy. It's very easy to make into powder. Dry, crispy. So that can tell you what it can be made into powder easily. It's from bone, it's dry, so this can tell you it's used as an astringent. But for Wu Zei Gu, the most important application in the astringent property is to stop bleeding. For bleeding, mainly, like metrostaxis, metrorrhagia, or like bleeding from the upper part, or traumatic injury. So it's mainly for bleeding. That's different from all other herbs. That's number one. Number two is what? It's a mineral stuff to some point, so it has high calcium content. So Wu Zei Gu is also an herb in Chinese medicine used to reduce acid reflux. It's one of the most commonly used herb to reduce acid reflux because it has high content of this. See? And another one for Wu Zei Gu is what? It can be powdered, crispy. It can be powdered easily. That means dry, powdered. It can be easily applied topically to help to heal wound and so on. Dry dampness and heal wound. You see? That's all the function of Piao Xiao or Wu Zei Gu in Chinese medicine. Well, in taste and practice is from animals, so we have that salty, but it's astringent and slightly warm. And in marine topics, we still say Wu Zei Gu enters liver and kidney, because the major application of the bleeding is still metrostaxis, metrorrhagia, that's the major one. So in functions, number one is astringe to stop bleeding. It astringe to stop bleeding. And this can be used both orally and externally, depending on the condition. And in the clinic, this can be used for this. First of all, it's a very commonly used herb for this purpose. In Chinese medicine, like metrostaxis, metrorrhagia, sometimes can be more like dysfunctional uterine bleeding. Sometimes bleeding can be very bad. And in the past, actually, Wu Zei Gu is one of the major herbs used for this as an astringent to stop the bleeding. And of course, you need to consider the different pathogenesis, use other herbs. For example, like qiancao, Wu Bei Zi, where often these herbs are used together. There is a formula, typical formula called Gu Chong Tang for this. Gu means consolidate, Chong means chomeridian, too much blood coming from the true meridian, so this formula function to stop that bleeding. Wu Zei Gu is one of the main herbs used to stop the bleeding. And another one is bleeding from stomach and the lung. This can be coughing blood or vomiting blood, right? And for this kind of bleeding, there is a powder called Wu Zei Gu. Wu is Wu Zei Gu. Ji is what? For bleeding from here, we say sticky, trace the chapped skin. Bai Ji. So it's a combination of Wu Zei Gu and Bai Ji. Bai Ji is for this kind of bleeding too. It can heal the opening, stick them together, right? And then in powder, powder is important in stopping bleeding too, because powder itself can help the wound to set up the framework for the platelet. So in the past, when someone has bleeding like this, we let patient take the powder with water. Very often this will stop the bleeding. That's another one. And the third is, for example, you have traumatic bleeding. Then you can just apply the powder, or you have this, you get some of this, apply the powder over the wound. It stops the bleeding too. You see? So Wu Zei Gu, in the stringent nature, remember, is for bleeding. For bleeding. And apart from that, Wu Zei Gu can also help to consolidate essence. And we say treat and also relieve leukorrhea. But bleeding is the number one. But Wu Zei Gu, at this point, this bone is white, powdered. So the two white things, emission and leukorrhea, can be treated with this. The white things. Leukorrhea in Chinese is called Bai Dai, white belt discharge. And other herbs with similar function, like Long Gu, the dragon bone. You can also use Shan Yao, Qian Shi, and some of this kind of herb together. For the leukorrhea. And for emission, if there is more kidney deficiency, you can also use Wu Zei Gu together with the Shan Zhu Yu. Sha Yue Zi, and so on. You can use this together for the purpose. So it depends on what condition it is, you use Wu Zei Gu with different herbs. But in the astringent nature, number one indication of Wu Zei Gu is bleeding. It's a very important herb for this and this. So have this in mind. And apart from this, we say it can also reduce acid, which means we can use this for acid reflux. And the acid reflux in Chinese medicine has two types. One type is more for liver heat or liver fire attacking the stomach, right? So you have acid reflux together with what? Heartburn. And also the acid flows up by itself. You feel it rush up. But there is another type of acid reflux. It's more from cold. That case, for example, if you breathe in a lot of cold air, this happens. In that case, you want to swallow the acid. Two different things. But this, from liver heat, is the most typical one. No matter what other herbs you use to treat the different pattern, the two most commonly used herbs, almost in every formula for this, one is Wu Zei Gu. Another one is what? Wa Leng Si. 断 Wa Leng Si, or roasted. Wa Leng Si is what? Clamshell. So both of them are the mineral stuff. When you have more, calcium and so on, it neutralizes the acid in that place. Because so that is the two major herbs we use for acid reflux. And Wu Zei Gu is one of the two herbs. And the last function is more to dry dampness and heal wound. And we have discussed lots of herbs with similar function, right? Most of this can be mineral, dry, they can be made into powder easily, so you can apply the powder over the wound. It will what? Absorb the dampness, reduce the fluid, then it helps the new tissues to grow. Or you can say this reduce the fluid, and this helps to do what? The generation of the new tissues. You can just use Wu Zei Gu in powder for this purpose. That is the last function. And the dosage is like this. If it's in powder, 1.5 to 3, that's the regular powder dosage. And let's say the same in the ancient time. In the earliest book, 2,000 years ago, we started to use this. It said that it's indicated for leukorrhea with blood inside. In another book, it said that it stops ulcer and so on with a lot of pus, failing to dry up. In another book, it said that it's a herb for metrorrhagia. This sudden massive bleeding is an important herb for that. In another herb, it said that it can also treat goiter. And when you do this in powder, it treats like children with some kind of wet skin rash or ulcer, smallpox, chickenpox, and so on. It also, if you mix Wu Zei Gu with the egg yolk, the yellow part of the egg, yolk. It treats like the thrush in babies. And if you use the powder of that together with pu huang, the cocktail powder, it treats what? Swollen tongue with bleeding. And if you use this together with huaihua and blow that into the nose, it stops nasal bleeding. And it also can be used with shexiang, blow that into the ear. It treats, like the chronic infection in the ear. That's the last herb.